Cheex. I'm the art critic from Poland. This will be the future stars of the art world. I'm enticed, I love it. And it's just simply go for it.
I was born in New York City and I grew up in Teaneck, New Jersey. I went to school at Bard College and I moved here 2 years ago to continue my studies at the RCA.
How have you responded?
Well, I think I've made work in a way about the place, the sense of loss, and the relationship between place and identity. A lot of houses, a lot of religious spaces that sort of form your identity or help you understand yourself as you grow up and as you move around.
Are you religious?
Yes.
What is your confession?
No, I grew up in a very tight Jewish community.
Okay.
And so for me, the religious ritual stuff and the religious spaces, all of the associations come to me in a Jewish language. But interestingly, a lot of the forms and the work seem to register with people in a kind of a universal way. So they see Eastern religion, they see Christian architecture, and all of it somehow is swimming together in the work. Yeah.
Looking at your work, I mean, it looks very sacrilegious in a way. It almost, for me, it has an altar-like experience.
Would you say sacrilegious? Are you talking about like idolatry? Yeah. Well, I'm very, very interested to know exactly what idolatry is, and I think about it and I write about it a lot. In Judaism, we have an important, the second commandment, which says that you can't make any pictures of God. And throughout, the centuries, we've sort of struggled to understand exactly what does that mean and why is that prohibited.
Have you found an answer?
Yeah, well, I have. I mean, for myself, I think it's not so much in the act of depicting and making pictures, but it's the way that those pictures are used. So if you worship, there's a very clear not metaphor, but a parallel in the art market. So we objects are bought and sold on the art market, and they move around, and they're almost worshipped in a weird way. So that might seem like an idolatrous practice, but it actually all rests in the way that we relate to the objects. Your own idea of yourself could become a kind of idol that you worship if it's a fixed image that can't change. The reason that idolatry is a sin or is forbidden is because it's an attempt to fix the idea of God or divinity or whatever we don't understand into an image or a form, a language that can then be owned.
Are these the forms of God?
No, I think they're more to do with portals of experience, and a lot of the forms are gateways and mouths that reference passing through a door or maybe being consumed by a door. I would say that the art in this room is not in these objects, but it's in the relationship between them and you and me and them.
Spacing.
Yeah, the spacing and the conversation. I think in some ways this one is a portrait of the house that I grew up in as my father's head. And it's sort of about understanding the difference between what a house is and what a home is. I mean, a house is a physical thing, but a home is a psychological space. Sometimes it moves. It's not, rooted to the ground.
He needs to think for a minute. An artist thinking is always something I consider very hot.
No, I mean, I've recently learned that there's a relationship between the word temple and the word temporal. Temporal meaning, time-based. Sacred spaces can create sort of a time outside of time from the kind of, measured time, which in our normal day we cut up as if it were a vegetable, that we could actually cut, when in fact it isn't a material. So a sacred space creates, through its architecture and through its unmeasured time, a kind of interior space and a psychological space and a spiritual space.
Sorry, I have a crush on nerds.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. But I recently...
I like that. He just said nerdy. Oh my goodness, I'm going insane.